The second portion, while we're on the subject of the CrossFit Games athletes, is going to be the potential repercussions that some of them will have monetarily with the games being in California. So there is something known as the jock tax in California. And I just roughly kind of put out some numbers here just to kind of give an example of what would happen. And I really hope some of these athletes are paying attention to at least this segment in particular. Probably not, because no negativity was hurled at them. But I hope their manager or their coaches or whoever is kind of looking out understands this. Now, it's not going to affect everybody that greatly, but one thing that you need to be aware of is there's something called the duty day. Duty day in California. What that is it's your California income. So any money that you made while you were in California equals the total annual income, which is going to be the days that you worked in California versus your total divided by your total working days. And they go after major global sponsorships. It's actually quite insane. So if you have like let's say Nike is one of your sponsors, and then you're over here in California and you're doing like a 2-week camp prior to the games, and you post a bunch of media and you're doing a bunch of stuff, California could come after you and say that technically those were working days and you were in our state and you have a global sponsor. So we actually want some of that money. It's absolutely insane. So for those of you guys that are coming out to California, early and wanting to do some camps here and other stuff, just be aware that that is a possibility. Now, when we get into these scenarios here, I'll share my screen just so you guys can see the numbers, so I don't just look person like harping around numbers here. But this first scenario, if we have the 20th place finisher, they earn just over $3,100. Now there's a California estimated tax that's going to come out of that at 1.5%. In addition, by the way, to your federal taxes and wherever you get taxed in your other state. This is in addition to that. And so you'll actually end up losing $46.80 out of that cut. And this will probably be done immediately. When I was looking into more or less like, okay, well, like, how are these people going to be notified that they have to pay for it? Like, is this going to show up as a bill at the end of the year? Like, what happens? And essentially, because CrossFit HQ is putting on the event, most likely they will withhold the California tax out of the winnings for you guys. So you'll just actually receive less on the paycheck that'll go to California. That does not include, by the way, this duty day here. So really look into that, especially for some of the bigger named athletes that are going to have a lot of media around them and have a lot of global sponsorship. Just understand what the implication might be there and see what you could do to circumvent it. Maybe it's a little bit less media, you know what I mean? Maybe not doing specific ads that are out here, but just kind of be smart and be aware of it. So that way you can navigate around it and you don't get stuck with some bill at the end of the year. So now we have our scenario B. This is kind of like the mid-tier event winner. So let's say that they're middle of the pack prize money wise, like 15th or something. But let's say they won a couple of events. So they get like the $5,000 stacked on top of that. And they're walking away with 50 grand total at the end of the games. So if that were the case, now you're in a different tax bracket. They're actually going to tax you 5% of that 50,000, leaving you with only $47,500 as your net take home. And again, I do believe that CrossFit HQ will probably withhold this as they give you the money in 6 months when you get it. I don't know how long it takes them, but I've heard some stories. And again, that's before your federal tax and before your state tax income as well. Okay, now this is who it's really going to affect here, which is going to be the top winners of the money. So let's say you get the $250,000 there for the top of the prize purse, or you just had a collection of other wins that ended up leading you into the 6-figure range. You're going to move now up into a California tax bracket of 8% for your jock tax, and they're going to take a whopping $20,000 right off the top of your prize money before you pay any other taxes on that. Just California's quote unquote jock tax. Absolutely crazy. So be smart about this. Some of you athletes are, I've had conversations with, I know you're savvy. You have set up hopefully some sort of LLC underneath your personal brand. And every time you're traveling, every time you're eating food, every time you're buying something, you are able to utilize those as write offs. And you really have that structure put away, because this thing gets a little complicated, especially when you come on over to California. And believe me, I know all about this crap. So, like I said, the upfront California withholding is going to be the total prize money times 7%, because they're going to take a little bit more than actually, just to make sure that everything is covered. So, whatever you guys win out there, especially if you're in that six-figure range, you're looking at a loss of 7 to 8%. And even if you win just a little bit amount of money, they're still going to take like $50 away from you. So, absolutely crazy. But there's your contribution. Bam.